Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 3 of the Gray Ghost Golf Dad is Golfing Scott and AJ podcast. We
Sometimes,
like,
someday we may have a different name for it, but that's what we're calling it for right now. So
yeah,
who cares?
and if anybody has any names, hey,
Yeah, put them
throw
in
it
the
out there for us.
comments.
Put them in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that great stuff for us. We'd really appreciate it. I'm glad you're coming here to join us and listen to us talk a little bit about golf and be a little bit of a shorter podcast today, Scotty. I know we talked about the US Open, and that was just an unbelievable
Yep.
event. We're getting ready for the Open Championship coming up here, which we will talk about here in the upcoming weeks, and I'm excited about that. But first thing I wanted to talk about a little bit about the Travelers up in Connecticut. You were
Yep.
up there for a little while, and I think you've gone to that event, haven't you, at River Highlands?
Yeah, Kendall and I, my wife and I actually went when I was working at UConn. When I was working with UConn basketball, some connections I had there. I think it was when Kevin Ali was actually there as an assistant coach.
Hmm.
He lived on the course at one point, I think. And but anyway, somehow somebody we got tickets. I can't remember if it was through him or Donnie Marshall or somebody like that. But that's one thing I do miss about working in athletics, but I don't miss the
Yep.
hours and quote lack of pay sometimes for the hours. You're very familiar with that being an
I
athletic
am.
trainer.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a super nice course. It's definitely a TPC style course, similar to what we played in Tampa. Um, yeah, I mean it's not flat, but it was cool to see it. So
I'll
yeah,
tell you what, I don't know if you saw pictures of that 18th hole with like the people were just lined up all the
yeah,
way down the fairway, and the amphitheater that they have there is just amazing, and they do a really great job. But Scotty Scheffler comes out again and just the dude's a machine. He's just so good.
yep.
But want to talk a little bit about what happened on the 18th green. I don't know if I'm sure a lot of people you've seen it. Some protesters came out when Tom Kim and all that last group got up to the 18th green, and had those, I don't know, their smoke
Yeah, I don't
bombs or flares and stuff like that. And
right.
I don't know if you saw that, but
I
um,
saw a little bit of it. I saw them getting escorted off, and actually a lady that I worked with at UConn, I saw her in the background because she volunteers for the tournament, but she was cheering the people that not the people that protest, but she was cheering the law enforcement that helped get them off the course and
well, I think law enforcement did a great job. They
yes,
were
they
able to
did.
isolate the situation, get them out of there as quick as possible. Uh,
Right. Didn't
you
damage the
know,
course too much, so
I just don't understand, and I don't get it. Like, you pay for, first of all, you pay for a ticket to get in, probably,
right.
so spend
Right.
money there,
Now you're
and
gonna
then
pay to be in jail
now
and
you're gonna have to pay to
court
get out of
costs
jail,
and
and you're
lawyers
gonna have
and
all the other stuff that's gonna come with it. And I understand, um, you know,
climate
eh,
stuff and
climate and right now we got a big debate coming up tomorrow between
yeah,
President Biden and Donald Trump and former President Donald Trump, and our nation's got a lot of political stuff going on, and this isn't
right.
about a political discussion and everything, but
Yeah,
I think they're forums where you can express your views and express your thoughts, uh,
right.
where hopefully people will listen and try to understand what you're saying. And then there are forums where you shouldn't do it. And I think doing it on the 18th green at a championship golf course and golf event is not a place you should do it.
Right.
You've disrupted everybody else's day there in some way, that pay tickets, that support the
Well, not only
golfers.
that, there's little kids there that are watching with their
Yeah,
families. So what are you teaching? What are you teaching young people, And
great point.
I'm
Great point.
surprised it was a little bit, it seemed like older people that were out there doing that. And I don't know if they were protesting oil or what a climate stuff, a
Yeah.
combination of stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Again,
are you really going to change anything doing that?
correct. And
Other than your life, because you could possibly end up in jail and all this
yeah,
other.
like it's just I have a personal issue with that because we've been in a lot of sporting events.
Oh yeah.
And safety is a huge concern, especially in,
Right.
in today's day and age of what we live in, and having people run out there and you don't know what's going on. Like, you
No.
really don't. We've had people that have run out on the fields before. You've been there. I've been there.
Oh yeah.
We've had, streakers and everything when we've been on the field. You have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And it could get pretty dangerous for those people that are competing. And from a safety standpoint, I think that the police did a great job of getting him off of there and
And the
getting him out of
volunteers,
there. The volunteers were
making
all
sure
great.
everybody
Yeah.
else was safe and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So I'm all for protesting rights. I think everybody has a say and
there's a
then
right way to
have a
protest and a
voice.
wrong way to protest, and
Correct. That's my thought. So, a couple of, so we're gonna get off that topic and don't want to give them any more time, but
yeah.
some other things. I don't know if you saw on Live Golf, they're in Nashville this week
Oh
and
yeah.
it's a pretty good event and Terrell Hatton played unbelievable out there, but they had a really good crowd and I've been watching a couple of the
Yeah,
events
they
and
were sold out, weren't they, or
it,
something like
it was sold out and they had a really good crowd. I'm not a big fan of the music playing and I
that?
understand. I just don't like that. I like being out there. I like, being with friends and talking to people and being with nature and everything like that. Once in a while we'll put, some music on and it's okay, but that's just not my cup of tea. But um but
Same.
but they had some good golf that was being played. But one thing I want to, talk about was John Rahms really got upset with the drone. And this happened on the PGA Tour when Robert McIntyre won. These drones are coming in, and they're making a lot of noise. And I think that what they're upset about and what's happening is, they're setting up to the tee shot. The drone's sitting above them. The drone's
Right.
flying up. Like, and then whenever I mean, you've flown drones before. You're a
Yeah,
big fan.
I can
You have
actually
your own.
expand on this a little bit. I have my own drone license to fly professionally like that if I wanted to. And on when I was at the US Open, I actually noticed one off in the distance, but I didn't see what happened at the Live tournament in Nashville with it. But as far as the US Open one, it was pretty high. It was way off in the distance. You couldn't even really hear that. I saw it, but you couldn't hear it. They
Yeah,
was not like they were right above the players. They were teeing off. And there's been some changes in drone laws and stuff recently. Technically, you're not back in the day, you couldn't fly over people unless they knew it was going on. So
sure.
I think that's changed a little bit. I'd have to refresh myself, but yeah, I think it's good for the sport to have another angle, but
Mm,
I think the way I saw it in the US Open, it was done the right way. I
hmm.
don't think anybody complained with that because it was off in the distance from the players that they were filming, and you couldn't really hear it. It doesn't sound like it was like that at Live. So
Yeah, it sounded like what he was getting about ready to shoot and starting his backswing and the drone goes straight up in the air. And when those things go straight up in
oh
the air,
yeah,
a lot
you
of
can hear.
noise. They're
Yeah.
loud.
Yep.
And it was pretty close to him and I guess it's not the first time that's happened. And you're gonna hear it when John Rahm when you do something with John Rahm, you're gonna hear it. Which rightfully so. He's that's his right. And I know
It-
I'd be frustrated with that. And
right.
but on the other hand, Bryson DeChambeau, I don't know if you saw him. He's
The
getting ready to hit
dog.
his shot, and the dog's barking in the background. And Bryson kind of just laughed it off. Not a lot you can do about that. But because dogs
The
bark,
drone's a little
hitting a
more
shot.
controllable, other than if somebody's
Yeah,
got a
and
dog that's around the golf course that's in a house.
agreed,
But
agreed.
I think the drones are a great tool. It's just like anything else. A car's a great tool unless it's used wrong. A drone is the same way, and that's why sometimes they get bad raps because people use them wrong like that. And it sounds like whoever was flying it should have maybe flown it in a different area or farther away from them, or something, just
Just
from
not moved it up. Just leave it. Let it
right,
sit right there. Just let it sit
right,
right there.
right.
So I'll tell you what. One of some of my favorite footage now with the drone is when they fly through the clubhouse, like
Oh
right
yeah.
to the 18th green and everything like that. That's pretty cool. I wouldn't want to be the one operating that because I can just see like that, 1850 or 1860 painting
Oh,
getting
it scares me. They're pretty most of them with the technology, they're pretty easy to control, but yeah, you can cause some damage if you wreck, and
Yep, yep, no doubt.
but
So
yeah, they got to be careful with them. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
yeah, yeah, no, no, it definitely will be. And so right now they're heading. I want to say I think the Rocket Mortgage is coming up this week. It's not a signature event, so I think a couple guys, a lot of the guys are going to be taking. They've gone 3 weeks in a row now with the Memorial U.S. Open and now River Highlands and the Travelers. So I think a lot of the big names will be taking some time off, getting ready for the Scottish Open, and then obviously the Open Championship coming
I
up.
think my boy Ricky Fowler's playing again. I think he won it last year
He
too.
did, he did.
I
That was
hope
the
he
first win in
gets
a while.
Man, I hope he just seems like a good dude. I hope he gets ready and somehow pulls out something at the US Open and gets or the British
The Open, yeah.
Open and gets a major under his belt. So we'll see
Yep.
what.
No, I would love it. I would love to see that. So yeah, so that's kind of what's going on the tours right now. So, want to talk a little bit about Bryant Park. So we talked a little bit about last week. We went to Bryant Park to play the players course. Scott was there, I was there, our buddy
Yep.
Ben and one of my friends, John was there with us, and we had a really, really good time. Bryant Park is in amazing shape right now, and it's in north part of Greensboro, North Carolina, and the players course was fantastic. They just punched the greens last now about a week ago on the Champions course, so we decided not to go on that one, but I'm sure that they're watering it a lot. We haven't had any water here, but
Oh yeah, we
that
need
course,
rain bad.
I like playing that course. That course was green. It
Oh, it
was
was in great
lush.
shape.
Yeah,
Like,
they were actually had the mowers out there, and the mowers
yep.
were cutting, and that stuff was thick. I mean, in tip top shape for the middle of the summer. And the bent grass greens were in really, really good shape too. And a lot of times those things will get dried out pretty quickly when it gets hot. But they're doing a great job of keeping that place watered down. And we had a great day out there. I was able to break 80. I shot 79. I really played really
Nice.
well. Had three putts too. Now those three putts, I felt like I was on another continent. I know there was one par three on the back nine where I looked across and I could barely see anybody else. It was like from one tip to the next, and I had a good shot at par. I just missed a couple of those,
Yep.
but played really well. Whenever I'm trying to improve my game of golf, the first thing I always look at, I have three rules that I play with, and I'm down to a low 8 handicap. I was at a 6 before. I'm trying to get a little lower. I had a couple bad rounds in there. But low 8 handicap, three big keys that I look for. One is I try to keep the ball in play, and I didn't lose the ball. I don't think I think I wasn't in the woods at
I
all.
think you did. Yeah.
Um, so keep the ball in play is key. Keep it in the fairway. Try to keep it, in play. Number two is I don't do two chips. So Scott, I know you've had a couple issues with that a little bit, but you're
Yeah.
getting here in a little bit.
Anybody out there that can help me with my chipping game? I know AJ's working on, but man, I hit the hosel and shanked something right. Other than that, I would have had a pretty good day because I hit my
Yeah.
irons well. There was a couple of tee boxes, but other than that, I almost had I was 10 feet from the eagle on a par five,
Yep.
so
Yeah. Yeah. 10 feet from Eagle. You had a good shot there, a couple
15
good
or
shots
whatever.
there.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so thinking of some of that stuff there, don't try to keep one chip. If you're in the bunker, get it out of the bunker and get it on the
Right.
green. And then my last real key is no three putts, and I had four of them this game, or this round, or three of them. I don't know, it's something like that, three or
I think it
four.
was three.
I think it was three, yeah. So if I keep those three putts down, I'm looking at 75, 76, and I'm really playing pretty well. So I was excited about that. But yeah, Scott, your game, I thought you played decently well. Like you said, you had a couple of those chip shots that really hurt you, but I think we figured a couple things out with you, which we were able to help you out with. One thing I
Got to get
noticed
out
you were
there and
doing.
practice it. So once things
Yeah, one
cool
thing
off a
one thing
little
that I
bit.
noticed you were doing, well, two things. The first thing was, it seemed like you were always short siding yourself to the
Yep.
pin. So you were like, if there's a bunker on the left, you were like left of the bunker. You had to go over the bunker and get it to a short pin. So you started actually, I thought playing away from some of the dangerous stuff, especially on that back nine, where you were able to, instead of being on the left side, you were on the right side where there was no bunker. It's just green and pin, which is nice. And then the other thing that I saw you doing, I think you kind of simplified your stroke a little bit. You kept more of a lead wrist. Your lead wrist was strong,
Mhm.
and kept your arm straight, and then just kind of let the ball get in the way and keep everything kind of stiff. And I think it kept everything aligned a lot better for you. So and I know you can't do that every time. I know you can't do that every
No,
time, but
no, I just need to, as you said, I need to practice more. And I think it's a number of things probably, but I tend to see I have outside to in swing, and
yeah.
somehow it's causing that club head to open, and I hit the hosel and just go right. But I straighten that out. I'll have a pretty good round.
Yeah, I think one thing
Like,
also, you got to try to
strengthen
keep
my
that
game.
keep the handle above the club face there,
Yes.
or in front of the club face. If you keep that handle in front of that club face,
Mhm.
you're able to catch the ball a little bit cleaner. And that's just something. I mean, that's an easy thing. I think we can continue to work on and go from there. But again, I didn't think you played really really bad. You putted it, I thought, pretty well. You're off the tee. You were again. I think you may have lost maybe one ball on that course. If you ever played the Players Course at Bryant Park, there's a lot of area where you can lose some balls.
I
In the
think, yeah, I
woods,
lost
water.
one when I broke out my 3 wood for the first time after the ranger or something said something.
Yeah,
And then what was there was one other tee box, but other than that, yeah, I played pretty
yeah,
decent from
I
the tee
played
box.
pretty well.
I maybe lost two balls at
Yeah, I think it
the
was on one where it was. I thought we would be able to find it. I thought it was right there on the right, and I could have got just got a clump of grass or something like
and
that.
I
So
did break my phone on I played Friday too,
yeah,
right there, and I broke my phone on the 18th hole, cracked the screen. as I was filming stuff, but it's fixed now, so we're good to go.
There you go. There you go.
Yep.
So this week, we're actually heading to Scott. Unfortunately, you're not gonna be able to join us, but that's okay. I'm heading to Greensboro National. So I'm gonna be playing with my cousin Alex. It's his birthday, so happy birthday, Alex. We'll bring you some
Happy
footage of
birthday.
that. So Greensboro National, a little bit about that course. Built in 1995. Built by it looks like let me see here. Designers are Don Charles and Mark Charles. So I'm not really familiar with them. I don't know if they're
Name.
local guys or something like that. Sound like they're brothers. It is in Summerfield, north of Greensboro. So you're probably about 30 minutes north, 20 minutes north of Greensboro, I would say. It's
It's
kind
actually
of in the
about
middle.
almost 45 minutes from me, even though it's
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
Greensboro
north of
areas.
Greensboro. Tips out at 6806. The white tees are 6261. The tips are a rating of 72.1 and a slope of 135, and the whites are 69.7 and a slope of 128. We'll probably play the white tees. Alex hasn't played in a little while. He's come back from vacation, so I think he turns 55 if I'm not mistaken.
10 more. Oh
So
man, do you know what that means? He can go down to the villages now, live in
yeah,
the
yes, you
villages.
can he? Yeah, I think he turns 55. So we may move him up a little bit, but he's hitting the ball well. So that's really good. They got a great driving range there, got a chipping
Yeah.
area, putting green. Nice thing about it is they have GPS on the carts, so you're able
Right.
to follow your ball and everything like that, and know how far you have. Speeds up the pace of play a little bit. Couple holes that I really like out there. Number 3 is a par 5. 547 yards. It comes around the lake. I don't know if you remember that one. It's a dog leg, right? You
Yep.
can cut off as much as you want of that lake. You just got to be careful though. Don't cut off too much.
The first hole isn't easy either because it's
First hole's an iron off the tee. Yep.
yeah, because you got the pond in front of the
On
green,
in
right?
front. Yep. On in
Yeah.
front. So
So you got to have a good, well, you got to make sure you don't go too far on your tee shot, and then you
yep.
got to have a good approach shot to the green after that.
Yep. Yeah, it is. So number 1, number 3, number 7 is the par 4 that goes back down the hill toward the water, and you got a peninsula green out there. It's a really, really nice hole. And then the 8th hole is 173-yard par 3, kind of back up the hill a little bit over water, and there's a huge house on the left, an absolutely beautiful house on the
Yeah,
left there.
there's some nice houses out
Yep.
there.
And then 16, 17, 18, kind of 3 of my, they're really good ending holes. I like playing them. 16 is a par 3. It's 189 with a kind of a marshland on the left. 17 is 339 par 4 with like it's an iron off the tee. There's a big creek in front. You cannot be aggressive on that hole. There's water all down the left. And then 18 is a long par 5, 554 yards, par 5,
Good.
going back up the hill toward the clubhouse, and it's a really nice view coming in.
Hmm.
The first couple times I played this course, I hated it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, I did not play well there. Um, had new owners that came in, I want to say in the maybe 2010, and they really did a lot of work on the course. Put Bermuda, they have bent grass greens in, but they did a lot of work on the course, cleaned up the bunkers and kind of cut away some of the brush area and everything, and really made the course really nice. Put the GPS on there. The grill's really great. So and the last couple of times I've played there, I've had some good rounds there, and I've enjoyed it a lot more because for me, like layout is one thing, but if the course is in good shape, the shape of the course for me is what I really want. I want the greens roll true.
Yeah.
I want just nice lush fairways if we can get them obviously here with the Bermuda and everything like that. Winter you don't get them, um, but yeah, that's my big thing, and obviously the layout's good. And I think the layout's a pretty good layout here. Any thoughts on Greensboro
Yeah,
National?
no, I was kind of the same way. It hasn't been my favorite, but hasn't been one that I've hated. It's not an easy course. Um, but you can score well out there too. You got to play smart, not necessarily distance.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on some of those holes you mentioned, but it does have that good practice area, like you said.
Yep.
So yeah, it's definitely a good one to play, especially if you can get a good deal on it or something. I think you did, like you
Yep.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Group
I
golfer. Group
like, I
golfer.
personally like Brian Park's facilities and their courses better,
I
but
love them.
Greensboro National is still a good one to play in the area.
Yep. So yeah, so that's what we're doing this weekend. Then next weekend is 4th of July. So happy 4th to early 4th to everybody. We'll come to you before that.
I'll get some practice in between now and then, get that
There we
chipping.
go. And I think we're trying to get a couple tee times together here on with our buddies on the 6th. So we're looking at a couple courses. I think we may try to shoot for the Champions course at Bryant Park. I think that would be a really good one to play that weekend. So we'll know a little bit more about that next week, and we'll go from there. But I don't have anything else, Scotty. Do you? Are you good
Hope
to go?
everybody had a good weekend. If you're getting out there and play, hit them straight and don't take too many shots to get the hole. And the most important thing is have fun and remember you're not working. So
There you go. There you
thanks
go.
for joining us. Hit the subscribe button, follow both of us. But we really appreciate the
Oh,
support.
I think we lost Scott there.
We really
Yep.
appreciate the
Thanks, everybody.
support.
Have a good one.
Yep.